This is a brief video describing the mentions section of the digital dashboard. This is an interesting section because it can be used in a few different ways. The most obvious one is that you can use this to check and see if you're being mentioned online, your business is being mentioned online, if there's any press releases or you're being covered in some newspaper or videos or blogs or so forth and so on. So it's basically a search engine which goes out and searches for the specific keywords that you've set, which you can do in the settings section. So when you look at this, a few obvious things. You have the graph, which basically tracks the number of mentions you've had over a period of time. It also gives you a rating for your mentions, whether they're positive, neutral, or negative. The first drop down over here on the left hand side gives you the option of seeing which terms you're looking at this point of time. So at this point of time we have this specific query or search query that we've selected, and that's what you see here on the bottom. These are all the results that were found online for that specific query, which in this instance is the name of the business plus the location of the business. There's a second search query, which is just the name of the business. So if you select that, it would sort the results on the bottom based on what you just picked, which is the second one. Or you can just say all, and it will pull in everything. So let's go back to the first search query, which is the name of the business plus the location. And as you see over here, it gives you the date, where it found it, and a link to the mention on the web. So for example, if we click on this second one, things to do in lacrosse, we went, it actually takes you to this event website, and as you can see here, they mentioned that this business was having some kind of a event on Sunday, May 24th. So it's a cool way to keep an eye and see what's being said about you online. Some of the functionality that's present in this is that, as I mentioned earlier, it gives you a sentiment, and you can see the sentiment here on the right hand side. Now, it's in your control to change the sentiment if you wish to. So we just looked at this one, and it's given it a sentiment of somewhat positive. Now, you could take a look at it and say, actually, you know what, I think that's very positive. I'm glad that they actually posted that online. So all you have to do is click here in the box on the left, come back up here on the top where it says perform action on checked items. You can say select. It's somewhat positive. You want to make it very positive. So click on very positive and click on change sentiment. And what you'll see here is that now it's got this big green smiley face, and it's turned it to a very positive sentiment. We can go back, select it, switch it back to somewhat positive, what it was originally, and it's come back to somewhat positive. Some of the other things you can do here is that you can choose to bookmark something specifically because you want to come back and take a look at it, or you think it's really relevant or significant, and you can, click on bookmark. It could be maybe your own content that you posted online, so you could click on my own content, or if you find that it's not that relevant, you can click on not relevant. Now the reason for this is that, for example, if you click on bookmark, and we went ahead and bookmarked this thing, there's a filter up here, and when you click on that filter button, you can sort stuff by, let's see, on the first box over here, you can sort stuff by bookmarks, content, or relevance. So you can just come back, and let's say there's a few hundred mentions about your business and you've bookmarked 10 or 15 of them. We just bookmarked one right now. You can click on bookmarks, and as you can see, it just pulls up the one that you specifically bookmarked. So it's a good way to file, if you will, or organize some of these mentions so you can find it easily. We can go back, sort it by all, and we're back to all. Some of the filters that it gives you, additional filters it gives you, is that you can sort it and just look at things that are posted on the web, or just specifically videos or Twitter feeds, news sites, or blogs. So you can filter by that. And ultimately, you can also filter by sentiment. If you just want to see all the positive ones, all the negative ones, you can sort it by any of those. So that's available with this little filter button all the way on the right-hand side. This calendar button is basically just to sort the results by date. So you can sort them ascending or in a descending order. So that's a real quick tutorial on what this does and what it is. Some of the other interesting ways you can use this is you could actually go into the settings, and if you go on the left-hand side, and if you go to, let's see, edit mentions settings, and you can see the two different key terms or search terms that we've put in. And when you go in and you click on edit, you'll notice that it's based on just like a search engine search. You can put in keywords, you can actually put in exact match, must include, must not include, which is things that you don't want to have put into the search. You can add more things in here or not. And you can have multiple different searches. So one of the interesting ways you could use this is, and let's go back to the original settings, you could put in your competitor's business name, and you could choose to keep a track of when somebody's talking about your competitors, or it could be a simple search term. So for example, this is a Irish bar, and you could put in a search term with saying that you would like to, anytime anyone talks about Irish bars, there's any news about Irish bars in a specific area, you'd like it to be brought in. And it would be another third search on the bottom of these two that you can go in and just track some news about a certain vertical or a certain industry, if you will. And what's cool about it is you can bookmark it and keep referring, come back to it and refer to it if you have to. So that was a brief overview of the mention section. Thank you very much.